All right, good morning. Good morning. All right, we got a few things going on this morning. We've got a couple releases this morning, I do believe, that we have to be aware of. We do, yes. A half an hour into open, we have the manufacturing PMI for December and Jolt's job opening. So we've got to be aware of both of those. Starting with our daily context, we're at highs, boys. We're at highs. Our little pullback pattern ended up holding the tops, and we fully extended again now. So definitely, I mean, it looks good. Today's candle will be pretty important. Hopefully, like, for us to continue up, like ideally we close up, but we'll see. Looks good though. We held and are extending again, so definitely bullish. Definitely bullish. And then we'll go down. We'll get an idea here on our hourly. Kind of looks pretty similar. This level right here is pretty important for us to hold. We did deep, like a deep retrace, and we kind of tested it halfway through the little zone. Did find buyers though. We're back up, you know, most of the way back up, so we could extend again. We could keep going. It's important for us to get back up over 4807. If we can get back up above 4805, there's a pretty good chance that we'll at least test it. It looks good though. Failure to make a low, already back this high. Depending on the volatility this morning at open, we could see a quick move up. But we'll see. We shall see. We have a nice little gap up going this morning. We did have a little bit of, I was doing my analysis about half an hour ago. We have a little bit of an expanding triangle happening right here. We had a potential little W on the 5-minute that formed, but then checked below itself again. And so I drew my trap level, but then while I was gone, it looks like now it has broken back up above that as well. So we have some higher highs and some lower lows happening in this little area here going into open. So got to be careful with that. Kind of let price figure itself out. Don't want to get caught in the expanding triangle until it figures itself out. So we'll wait and see. We've got our lines drawn from our yesterday's high and low point. Don't need this anymore or these anymore. Cool. We had a little wedge that broke up really clean, but then this was our little bit of a deeper retrace that we had. Hard to say. Technically right now we're kind of in between range and range. If you looked at this as a small little range and this as a small range, we're kind of testing both sides, floor and ceiling. Not really getting anywhere quite yet. We do have pretty decent structure though for longs, in my opinion. So I guess we'll see how the open goes. And then really being aware that at 11 we have to be ready for 11. Cannot be taking a position into that. So we're chilling, waiting to see what the open gives us, kind of give us a direction. We've got slight theories, but for me it's most important for this kind of area to get sorted out. already back down testing near the low of it again. Be interesting to see if this yellow line holds for the open, or if our triangle continues, because we've got this happening. Which is extremely difficult for me to do anything with, so basically I gotta wait. We gotta wait for this to figure itself out. Continues. Be interesting to see if it respects that megaphone. It's kind of respecting it so far. It's difficult price action here, so we gotta we're big chilling, just waiting. Gotta let it sort itself out. Hey, good morning, man. How are you this morning? Lower low again. See if we can come up and make another higher high. There it is. We rotate the yellow line back and forth. Man, that's some nasty stuff. So this was technically the trigger originally of the two-leg pullback, but it already was formed kind of, you know, pretty sketch. Not really interested in it earlier in pre-market, but then price kind of got in this weird megaphone pattern So it's kind of like it encouraged sellers, but at the same time, you know, it didn't form right because we knew there was buyers in this market, and they are still there. So it's like buyers are low, sellers are high, and it's creating this megaphone pattern at an area that should have been a fairly decent inflection point. So we got an attempt at an actual breakout now over that level. See if we can actually go more than one tick. There we go. Didn't break over the top swing here, but we were right there. Fairly nasty looking rejection candle so far. It's gonna close that way potentially. A couple seconds left. Yep. Pulled all the way back, lower than the small swing that we put in this morning right here. We tested one tick under it. Market came back and tested like maximum pain area. This could be a really good short entry for some people. A retest of that rejection. I don't like that it only broke one tick though and got the instant buys, right? Like it seems like a trap to me. But there would definitely be some people shorting off this rejection retest, which may give us a squeeze. The trap plays out. We're double topping so far. Still trying. Didn't get rejected like aggressively again yet. Oh, there we go. One tick higher. There it is. New highs. See if we get a failed breakout here. Big order up there. 10. Oh. Right at the last second, eh? To be honest, that's a really decent signal bar. Hasn't fired though, and the fire is too many points for me. Can't sell the retest because the fire didn't happen first. May not actually fire. We did get a rejection candle here that got bought up. Then that was the actual test of the high. Never went lower though. We had not even one tick lower to initiate the sells. So I cannot sell this retest. See what happens here if it tries again. Definitely didn't reject the way that you would think. It looks like it wants to try again. There's a one tick poke. Do we get a second rejection candle? Or do we actually hold this and start to go up now? We got a nice bearish close rejection candle. Be beautiful. Oh, it's gonna be too big. Right off that one tick poke too on the retest. Looks so juicy. Our risk goes all the way to 80.50 though, or 8.50, sorry. It's a long ways away. That looks so good. No fire though, like the candle's coming back up first. It is the retest with a one tick poke. Ooh, it's giving that cheaper entry too. It's like I want it, like I want to just do it, but I technically didn't get a fire first, so I'm going to be breaking a rule to get into the trade, and I really don't want to. I don't want to do that, even though it's like as perfect as it could get. This could be the high for a much larger move back down. It's a nice setup. No fire though. Definitely some buyers still present, because we still, like, we're 3 candles deep now and never actually went even one tick lower. It's just getting bought right back up. Same thing that happened here. If this candle would have peaked below and then we did a little bit of a pullback, man, I would have sold that. I'd be in this retest right now. But the fact that we didn't, I can't initiate the trade until the trigger, because you get that the sell-off or like a move lots of times that just never goes anywhere. I mean, it looks like a failed breakout, that's for sure. Currently. Do we make a high or low here? Or is this actually gonna end up working? And we're in the 5th candle now after the signal with still no trigger. I mean, definitely not typical follow through off of this. Like we gotta acknowledge that, that's for sure. Off what looks like a very, very good failed breakout. We had the attempt to reject here. We tested one more time, a 1 tick poke with a massive rejection. Whew. Looks really good, but the fact that there's been 0 follow through is very strange. Those failed breakouts often, you know, start to trend the other way quite quickly because everyone's trapped. What's our volume like? Pretty decent. We're at 115. It's okay, I guess. Definitely not high. Although, remembering 11 o'clock, we got 2 economic releases. First session that we've had 2 like real economic releases in multiple sessions from the holidays and stuff. So could be a little bit stuck for that one reason. Maybe everything's waiting for the announcements. It's trying to curl over. There it goes. Well, we were definitely ready to take a short up here. It just didn't give us the setup we wanted. Looking at this on multiple time frames, it could be a very good short. Dang, man, already getting good bounce. Eight minutes. It's getting close enough to 11 now that can't really take a trade anyway. I was definitely interested here. Was so close. If this would have just closed a tiny bit smaller, would have been able to get in, but the trigger never ended up happening until the actual dump candle. We put it in a signal bar and then went into like distribution.
By the water 'neath the Mexican sky. by a string of blue lights. Listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me? I wanna dance by the water beneath the Mexican sky. Drink some margaritas by a string of blue lights. Listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me?
All the way back up.
I wanna dance by the water beneath the Mexican sky. Drink some margaritas by a string of blue lights. Listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me? I wanna dance by the water beneath the Mexican sky. Drink some margaritas by a string of blue lights. Listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me?
Seems like we really want to stay kind of range-ish for now, which does make sense. Awaiting the 11 o'clock news. It looks so nasty on the 24-hour chart. Oh, it looks so bad, brutal. Yes, sir. Yeah, it seems like we're waiting for the 11 o'clock reports. Definitely hesitating. There was almost really good short setup for us. And yeah, that's all that I've been interested in so far. Now we're just waiting. Gotta wait. See what happens after 11. Definitely tried to set up a failed breakout, but it's a pretty good retest. We'll see what kind of volatility pops in at 11. Both of the releases were less than expected. They were red. They were lower than expected. Not by a huge margin, but see if that amounts to anything. A little bit of selling stepping back in. Let's see if we hold this little level or if we actually do come down and make a new low a day here. Which would then more likely confirm that as a failed breakout. It looked really nice for a failed breakout, but then we had that high retest, which was a little surprising. There's our new low a day. There's no one timing entries that we can take. Hasn't really broken down very much. We're still, I mean, if we held and came back up in, you could still even look at it as a range, but it does look like we failed a breakout on a higher time frame. Starting to push back down, zooming out a little bit. If the failed breakout like holds and keeps going, we could pull back fairly steep. I'm leaning towards like I want to stay looking for a proper short. A nice two-leg pullback would be okay for sure. If we didn't dump really much further at all and produced like a little bottoming pattern here, I would be okay with range fading it back up into. But I prefer a two-legged pullback, I think, to the short side, just playing into that larger time frame that's also trying to, you know, fail this breakout. So there's our low one opportunity. So now if we got a little bit of a pullback and tested just a little bit higher than this small accumulation and gave a nice failure signal up here at liquidity, that would be a beautiful two-leg pullback opportunity. It's trying to go off of a one, but I can't really take a low one opportunity in this. And the prerequisite's not there, so. Okay, we like it, it's what we wanted. Let's see if we can get a little bit of an extension up here. And then a failure. All right, now we're confirmed in the second leg. See if we get a nice entry signal. Inside reversal to the downside, an engulf candle. You know, shooting star, something we can work from. Got a doji so far. Hanging man is okay too, especially if I do a breakout underneath it. Didn't go off the hanging man. Gotta wait. So it didn't react from the liquidity point. Still not a good signal bar at all. There's our pullback. Triggered the trade off a horrible signal candle though. It's tough. I wish that signal bar would not have been a green doji candle. Ah. It's got really good structure and it looks like it's trying to work, but man, that signal candle is just brutal. It's like the one thing I didn't want it to be. It's gonna go without us. Just gonna accept it for sure. I can't do it off of that. It's literally in the rules. As much as I wanted to, I can't. The fact that we got follow through, maybe I should have done the retest because the follow through was enough information, but not experienced enough, I guess, to be able to make that adjustment on the fly. I just know that I'm not taking a green doji candle as a signal bar. It's like out of all the rejection candles that it could have formed, that was like the one I didn't want. It looks really good. This trade looks beautiful right now. Should give full extension exit and potentially a nice move. It broke underneath the first swing, so that's very good. So this is the first candle to now make a little bit of a high after the trade triggered. Blech. It's back testing entry. we were stalking that trade so hard. So if this candle now goes below 99.75, we move stop to this area here. There it is. So that's the remove some risk option. Got our trailed stop swing point. One tick poke. Got to go more than one tick. If it doesn't go more than one tick, we got to exit the trade. Still not going more than one tick. If the candle closes at one tick, that's a... Yeah, that would be an exit trade right there. Definitely don't want to get caught in the one tick poke. Still trying though, it might continue. There it goes. Still would have exited the trade though. The candle closed, the breakout candle closed at one tick, so that's a closed trade rule. So we have our red line moved to there. It was a great setup. Like we were really like stalking that trade, but man, my signal candle, that close of that candle really prevented me, unfortunately. Something that I will say though that's kind of like eating away at me lately is the way that I trail my stop. Which I like, but let's say that I'm not in this trade because of whatever reason. When that re-entry test comes and it gives the ability, like it gives the signal now for me to remove the some risk of the trade to that location, I don't see why that couldn't be used as a re-entry opportunity, because I'm still in the same trade, right? The principle behind the trade's still happening. Everything, it's supposed to be a managed trade that is like trailed. So if you miss the original entry for whatever reason, in this case it was because the signal wasn't great, but it did hit the follow through that was proper and continued to work properly. When that opportunity comes that I would adjust risk to, why not take that signal of adjusting risk to re-enter the trade? And you know, the stop is now where the trailed stop would be. I don't, like, to me that makes sense in my head, right? Like, because the trade's supposed to be on. In my head, that makes sense. Nice, what a little pop there. Coming right back up, testing that 5-minute swing point. This kind of looks like a quick liquidity check and coming right back out of it potentially. Tested the perfect liquidity spot, would have tagged out the trailed stops because this is actually the swing point that pushed the low, not this one. So perfect location. Looks like it's going to close. Not a bad signal buyer for a double bottom. Seller's still there. No liquidity point here though for, you know, a double bottom to form. Like to be, if I saw something like that a little lower, could play a nice bounce, but this location I'm not really interested in buying yet. Here we go, we broke below some swings. Ideally we break below this next one. So I mean, we are trending down, but it's definitely not straight down. Just kind of stair stepping. Does seem quite likely that we're at least going to see a test under 95. The original failed breakout at the top, right? Makes sense. Seems like we're kind of channeling. This one doesn't really work that well. Maybe more like a wedge. It's quite a buyback. Yep. We definitely have a potential reversal that just happened. Maintaining that swing point though. Checked underneath some of the local ones, but never actually broke the big one. Which I guess on the hourly keeps us above that swing point that pushed the high for now. Definitely a very strong reaction. Kind of have a squeeze going on right now. Little squeeze. So we broke up above two of those middle swing points on the 5-minute chart. So a very large 5-minute candle reversal close, and it did maintain our hourly swing point. It didn't actually break. We were super close to breaking. Never did. It held. We're actually all the way back up, basically to the top almost. Kind of crazy. How's our volume closing? We just closed B periods. We had 147, followed by 120. So lower than yesterday, a little bit lower than average, but higher than it was during our holiday trading times. The follow through off that squeeze is questionable for sure. The aggressiveness of that, I was like fully ready for this to flag or just keep going right away. This price action almost leads me to believe something different, and now it just is kind of following suit for still looking rangy, right? Found sellers near the top of the range again. We've already pulled back quite a bit, like surprisingly. Interesting price action for sure. What do you think, one time? You think we're staying in a range for a bit? Or do you think this is going to come all the way back down and us keep going lower now? And that was a quick liquidity snap. The one-time move right back down is like wild. So it makes me believe that I think we are going to go lower, and it was a quick like just snap. If it was going to continue to squeeze, that we definitely shouldn't have got that unless we stay range-ish and we find buyers down here again and then get stuck in coil. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. Yep. It's like, I don't like how this has like one time moved right back down off that pop. That's for sure. It's kind of the follow through, just the fact that it came back that far makes me question what happened big time, especially with no candle that even tried to go higher. Like the sellers were like purely in control this whole move way back down. You thought like there should have been some buyers after something like that, you'd think. Yeah, for a scalp for sure. No, I got you. Yeah. It's tricky. Sellers showed they were definitely still in control. Just a quick 10-point swing and then take it right back. There's our low. So for me, this becomes an important level for now. My market is yellow. So now it seems like we're going to come down and break our actual hourly swing point, I would assume. That was a very quick, aggressive move, and I feel like, I mean, as I'm watching through here, this has triggered my low one timing entry, because we had a quick spike that was a potential trend reversal that would have trapped some longs for sure. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. If I get the first opportunity for a pullback, the low one is fully on board. That's kind of what I'm stocking currently. Holding to the tick so far. So I'm stocking a low one entry under the assumption trap traders. Now, I wouldn't want it to go too far. So I don't want it to have strength. All right, there's the low one entry. Let's see if it pulls through. We want to get more than a 1 tick extension for sure. We don't want to see a 1 tick. We didn't get 1 tick filled, which is a good sign to start. Now we just don't want to see a 1 tick follow through of a break if it even gives it to us. Got 40 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. We'll see. Nice. We got our extension. Not being greedy. We're out. Beautiful. Not being greedy on that slide. I'm going to take that and walk away. Beautiful. Trap traders. That was the perfect, like picture perfect, right? Massive spike in the opposite direction, changing trend, instant one time straight against it, indicating that, you know, all the people that were getting long and on the pullback were going to be 100% trapped. First opportunity for the candles to pull back gives the opportunity for traders to adjust their position. Soon as it starts to fail, everybody has moved their stop right to this new swing, just hoping that they're going to be able to get that move back up. Doesn't happen, you get the slide. Picture perfect. We're trying to still maintain. We still haven't had another candle break up. The sellers are definitely in control. We were breaking into liquidity though, right? Like I knew that we were sitting on the liquidity line, and as long as everything lined up nice, we could get that slide. And because we got it, I did not want to see the volatility, you know, bounce back and forth, take the profits right away. So I'm good to just exit the trade. I made a mistake the other day. One of the days that I took a low one opportunity, I ended up getting out at break even because I held it for so long. And realistically, the strategy is just for extension, right? You want to get that next extension slide, and that's it. Like, you're not trying to hold for multiple legs or anything like that. And that's what I did wrong. I executed the trade and it gave me almost 2-to-1 on the extension, and I got greedy and held, like looking for another swing point to trail it behind. And when I was reviewing, I was like, man, why'd I do that? And I did that because of the money value, which is the incorrect answer, but that is why I did it. the market was so slow on that day that the trade did produce properly and gave a 2-to-1 as far as like risk to reward. But I wasn't the normal money value. The market's ATR was not moving the same amount as it normally would be. So when I was sitting there only up like 2 points or 2 points in a little bit, I was like, oh, that's not what I want, right? And I held looking for more, which was just a pure mistake, because that really has no significance. It, you know, needs to be relative to the candles that you're trading that day. So what should have happened is I should have had size on, and I should have been in a 2 contract trade to maintain the same proper amount of risk. And then when it did hit the 2-to-1 target, it would have made sense properly. So it was a misplay. That makes sense. That was kind of a tangent, but it was good of me to experience, to remind myself, like, got to pay attention to the actual like size of the candles and stuff to really know like what to expect. My expectations were way too high on the trade. That trade the day that you're in. So we actually went all the way back and tested yesterday's high, I think, to the tick, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I'm slightly off. No, yeah, I tested it to the tick. Not interested in another low one opportunity. No prerequisite event. So we breached into liquidity in 2 levels. Daily chart, we're testing yesterday's high. We did just complete the breakdown reversal of our hourly chart. So we'll change our line color here. We broke through 2 levels actually on that quick push. So market achieved what it was trying to do. Business down here. Now, do we make another leg down and continue? Or do we get a little bit of a rest and a small pullback now that we've achieved the liquidity spot? We still have our gap fill down here. We're slowly making our way there. Kind of stagnant a little bit here. I really need to wait at this point to see if the market's going to react from the liquidity enough to give us a small, you know, retrace and a little bit of a cool down period, or if we'll continue. It's definitely trying to go off of a second low one opportunity, but no trade signal for us, no prerequisite. Five-minute chart, we have an inside candle. We got 2 minutes left on the second inside candle. Ideally, it doesn't close as a second inside, but we'll see. Oh, hell yeah, man. Nice shit. Good job. Good job. Looking good for you. There's your next extension. Nice second trend extension. Yep. Yep. It's a good target. It's a great target. It's a great target. The fact that we did a second extension now, you may get it. It's definitely much more likely. It happened off of a low 1-2, so sellers are still big time in control for the time being. We do have an inside candle breakout happening here on the 5-minute chart, closing on the breakout, which is good. Nice. There's our gap fill. Almost. Our gap fill location anyway. So we're back into yesterday's price action now. There's your gap fill. Good slide, good slide. Slide. Congrats, man. That's some beauty trade right there. Good trade. Good trade management. Got some bigger volume on those last two candles. Well, our failed breakout at open really did play out beautifully. Nice, there you go. Yeah, man. Got a nice volatility slide happening right now. You're in a great position. You got diamond hands, bro. Yep, 75. I like it as well because that's like we're kind of the next liquidity point really is going to be under 80. So if we don't hold here relatively quickly, then I mean that's where we're going. I guess we have over here. Could look at that swing point, I guess, which I think is what you're looking at. Right near yesterday's close. That last big V. So we have our failed breakout. We've got a nice reversal happening. Sellers definitely stepped in. Keep aiming for shorts only until we get some form of like second liquidity push. Nice, we're still one timing. We're like 10 candles in a row. Very, very, very aggressive push. People were not ready for that that reversal. Getting some nice slide action. Beauty slide. First candle to stop one timing. Got a new swing point. Nice 82.50 swing point. There's your 675 target. See if we actually break below this next swing point into liquidity again. You might still get a slide. Still, yeah, you're still hitting liquidity sliding. See if it reacts from the liquidity. Got some absorption. Man, look at that volume step in. These two last 5-minute candles had like equal volume to our open out of nowhere. That is like some big time slide. You got a night, like a home run trade right there, bro. Good for you. Like hell yeah. Those are the ones that really boost your numbers at the end of your month. Nice, good job, man. Nice management there. You had a really nice one-time push there, like very beauty. Those are like you know, the trades that make your monthly P&L really like boost right there. Good for you. If you entered the same spot as me, you roughly got like 20 points. Sheesh. Hey, that don't matter, man. That good on you. That was, you know, you said that was your strategy, and you did it correctly, so you were able to catch a good move, man. That's great management. Good for you. That was a very nice slide. That was some very high volume in the last 10 minutes. Like, damn. And it's not so much about the money, right? The money only comes from sizing. It's all about your points. Like, can you consistently take points out of the market with your trading? That's the key. Because as soon as you can do that, you know, the money is just a byproduct of, you know, how you size yourself. It's around, you know, then you get into risk management and account management and all that stuff. But if you can consistently do your strategies to pull points out of the market, that's your key right there, or one of the keys, I should say. So we're starting to react a little bit from our liquidity level. Pushed under multiple hourly swings there. Daily chart looking like potential failed breakout. If I was a swing trader, the open, man, was very good opportunity. You had a long drawn out area that we retested just above and closed, you know, rejecting. We had on the 1 minute time frame, even so, we had like really nice selling exhaustion opportunities. And this one here even happened off of a 1 tick poke, and we were ready to short, but it didn't fill the order until like 6 candles. So that's a rule break for me. I can't take that trade. And I couldn't sell the retest either because there was no trigger to the signal yet. So the system never really played out. Now, mind you, that wouldn't have mattered. Like, that wouldn't have played into what happened today at all. I literally would have been out like if it got to here. But as swing traders perspective, you know, when we did our analysis, we had a failed breakout opportunity, and if that failed breakout like succeeded, it actually did fail, the likelihood was the market would at least come back to yesterday's high. So it was a very, very high risk to reward swing trader opportunity, and I mean, it amounted to even way more without even a pullback happening off of yesterday's high too. Is what a reaction. What a reaction. Yeah, have a good rest of your day, dude. Enjoy. Nice trading. The market's very stretched now, so I gotta wait a little bit. Could play mean reversion potentially, but I didn't really get anything from mean reversion that I'm too interested in right now. Technically, we have a 2-leg pullback that fired right now, but the market's too extended for me. I can't take it. It plays into the opportunity where sometimes I wish that I had a strategy developed to play the failure of the 2-leg pullback, which I've said 100 times, but you know, I still don't do it because I haven't taken the time to actually make the strategy or test it or work with it or anything. So I'm not just going to start deploying it. But in these contexts, like the current one, you know, trading the failure of it often works just as well as trading the pattern. So technically it fired right here. But after that far of a one-time push straight down, and now we've broken multiple swing points, I gotta give it time again. Need to wait. You can also see the difference, right, between this one and this one. This one was almost like, you know, a bear flag after the move, and it's still not like super extended. And then it just couldn't quite go and pulled up just above it and then went off of that. Whereas this one is almost like starting to buy up. And then we put in the accumulation up here. Very different presentation wise. Still holding the ceiling. I was watching Bitcoin on another screen here, waiting. I was like so close to getting my entry that I wanted, and then the ES dumped, and the Bitcoin market just dumped off of like nothing instead of what I was looking for. It was like so close. So interesting event that's going to happen right here. Like, so the people who are trying to take the 2-leg pullback to the short side immediately got into some pressure, right? But then it didn't actually break the swing point and sold back down. Oh, just 1 second. Someone's here. Sorry about that. So yeah, because it held the top and never actually broke up and hit their stop losses, now you're hit with the opportunity to now get out at break even. This is like a critical decision time because I find that if the market sets up my trade strategy and then basically starts to work against me almost instantly, it's often wrong. It's very rare that it goes against me and then does work. If it's going to work, it often just starts to work relatively quickly. If it starts to kind of go against me right away and hovers, then I'm usually wrong. So when the market doesn't hit your stop loss and then gives you that opportunity to get back out at break even, most times I find that I should do it because it's like a gift, you know? But statistically, or not statistically, but mechanically, nothing has invalidated the trade yet. And I think that's, you know, it's kind of what creates this coil action now, is that exact thing, right? The people that were getting short were kind of put into a little bit of pressure, and then they were given the opportunity to get out at break even. So then all the people that are short start to buy their position back, and now we get more buys back up again from the area that they got short from, right? This candle would have been where a lot of people got short, and then it went right against them. Comes back down to where they got short, they buy their positions back, market starts to rally back up again. Now we're coiling. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, right? We have a two-legged pullback with a like absolute beautiful signal bar. Couldn't be better off of the one tick poke above the first leg too. Literally couldn't be better. But context of the market is that we were extremely stretched. And we broke into way larger time frame liquidity now. So my edge kind of disappears. The stats go way down when that type of scenario is happening. And often playing the failure of it is the better opportunity. If this market hadn't broken under this swing point, this large time frame swing point before that happened, then it's kind of a different scenario, but still mechanically has not invalidated the trade. Time-wise though, right? The two-legged pullback, like look how this one worked like instantly, right? It just kind of goes one little pullback, then right to extension. Then you get your full two-leg move into extension underneath the swing point. This still hasn't done anything. The longer it takes, the less and less likely, right? I'd almost be more interested in waiting for another push up and to see a two-legged on the 5-minute chart, like something like that. Something more on the higher time frame. Not too interested in this range here on the 1-minute chart. We are back below now, though. We could get our extension. Looks much better for extension now. Yep, there's our extension. So even though we were that stretched, it still worked, even after all that, which is like quite impressive, really. Getting quite a 2-bar here off of that extension. Retest. No trade entry though. No no trigger before the pullback. Still coiling. We've got 2 candles now. Inside candles. Trigger happened on the 3rd candle. I will say that we know that there's buyers down here in this level. We had a really nice 2-bar. We had an attempt here that took a long time to sell. If this next one doesn't slide, then it's going to be a decent mean reversion trade. There's no actionable trade here or here to the long side, but we know that there is more long pressure down here than there has been in quite a while. Well, maybe it's just going to hold a higher low. I was getting ready to watch this next attempt at extension for a possible mean reversion long trade, but I think it's just going to happen off of a higher low here. Got bigger volume than the big bar in this doji candle. This is interesting. There wasn't enough seller, like they didn't take very many sellers. Or buyers rather, for the market to move that far. But then when we approached this level, there was lots of trading that happened back and forth and it didn't move much. I mean, the 5-minute chart looks kind of scuffed. This doesn't look like a clean W bottom. See if we can get back up above 80 here, or 81, sorry. That's like the ideal swing point to break for this 5 minute to actually have created a potential W pattern reversal. So there we go. One tick above though so far. There we go. So we have a potential long reversal happening. Not much between here and the moving average, so we could take that back relatively quickly if we don't fail at liquidity right where we are. It's kind of how I'm looking at it. Either going to fail liquidity, pull back down into this potential range, or we'll probably climb back up. Look at some of these levels that we lost. Moving average catch up being the first one. And then like 91, 94, if we get that high. Holding the liquidity check is going to be the first step. So we didn't spike through, no slide. We're still chilling here. This is kind of our back test that's pretty important for this to hold, you know, the retest of somewhere within this W. Ideally, the higher the better, keeps us bullish. Looks pretty good so far. Kind of chilling though still, eh? One tick poke. Thick cells. Lots of thick cells above. We've been struggling at one tick for 2 minutes now. Not a bad rejection pattern, really. It's unfortunate that the signal candle pushed all the way down, like below the swing point. No trigger yet. Held the equal low, which is one tick below that 1 minute swing point. So see, makes sense for the 5 minute chart as a pullback. Could be a decent trap. About to close a second inside candle down here. 2 inside candles. No trigger possible. We have the potential long, right? Reversal happening. We have now a possible trap squeezing shorts. So kind of playing into it together could be the momentum we need to push up to the moving average. I can't take a limit short off of this swing point, even though it's a nice failure because there was no trigger candle. The only trade possible here for me would be an attempt at a breakout and then another failure, which could be okay, but that would be it. But I think it's likely that if we break above 83.50, because of the way that we did this pattern here, it's quite likely that we do get a little bit of a push. So that's 2 ticks. Yeah, no failure pattern yet. Looks like the nice trap play out. We may get our push to the moving average off of that. Looks like it. Looks like the trap playing out nicely. Moving average touch is going to line up with right above this small little zone that we hesitated in for a sec. It's kind of perfect for a target. There it is. So if you breakout traded that failure, could you have gotten 1-to-1 from swing to swing? 83.75, 80.75. So we needed to make 3 points. Yeah. Absolutely, we could have. More than 1-to-1. Well, we had good reads on the market today. Pretty much getting to the point now where I'm going to cut myself off. We had good awareness this morning of the possible failed breakout in the larger time frame. Could give us a large downward move, which we did get. Was a little messy in the beginning, but absolutely did happen. If you were trading off the large time frame, it doesn't look messy at all. There wasn't really a whole lot of opportunity for us, except I will say that this, you know, like the presentation was so friggin' beautiful, but the one checkbox, man, the signal candle was like scuffed. And like, even after, I think part of the mistake maybe was and I mean, it's not, I shouldn't say part of a mistake, but something that I'm observing is the theory that if the trade plays out the way that it's supposed to, when it does that retest, like we always expect a retest of like the entry location, right? If you ends up getting the follow through off of like maybe a poor signal, but everything else makes sense, and this goes for all my setups, not just this one, this is what allows me to remove some risk from the trade and then continue on. As soon as we get a candle that like actually pulls back above the previous one and then makes a new low, we're assuming that we're creating a new local swing point to adjust risk to. So it's the same trade happening, but I could almost use that as another opportunity to actually get into the trade, right? Like it doesn't like in my head that makes sense because I'm not exiting the trade here. Like me allowing myself to remove like partial risk to that new swing point, I'm doing that expecting the market to continue to go down from that location. So why not get in again or add to the position or like, you know, use it as a second entry or something, right? It just kind of feels like the setup could be better that way. Like it just, I feel like I'm not really utilizing the full potential of what I could do with it. I'm like, just if I wasn't allowing myself to remove risk from it, then I don't think it makes as much sense. But the way that I'm managing the trade currently, it lines up for me to be able to use that as another opportunity if for whatever reason I didn't get into the first one. But I don't know, that's just a thought, something that I'm like, I've felt that a lot lately, but I haven't ever acted on it. But it's just something that I'm journaling about for now. So, you know, as beautiful a presentation as this was, the signal candle kept me out. And I guess if I had the breakout order sitting below the signal candle, it would have been potentially viable to do it that way, because if it got filled, we know that the trigger candle would have been a big bear-bodied candle. So, you know, again, journaling information, but currently I can't use that green doji candle as my signal candle to get short from. Everything else about the trade was literally AAA. That one factor is what kept me out of the trade. So realistically, what could have been, let's see, I would have managed it for 2 legs. So we got 801, entry was 801.50 and 804.25. So yeah, you're like 3 points and a little bit. And what do we get? 98. Second leg extension and then hesitation, so somewhere in like 97s to 98s exit. You know, really wasn't a huge home run 2-leg pullback for sure, but it would have amounted to like 1.5 ish. Wouldn't have held any more than 2 legs. That's all I look for, a 2-leg push. Ideally though, the 2 legs happen as we go. So the first leg happens on the extension and then the first leg up and then another move, but it didn't happen that way. All in all, not really a miss, just an opportunity that was very, very close to happening. And like the structure was there and the context was there and everything was there, but the most important like actual signal wasn't there. So is what it is. Nothing else until we saw this trap happen, and we were like, you know, we weren't really sure how to read that. That kind of came out of nowhere in what we were kind of reading as a failed breakout environment. And it was just a liquidity snap. And it was really good that we noticed, like I was able to read this properly. You know, I didn't get caught trying to buy the pullback or anything like that. There was no opportunity there. It one-timed right off of that big spike. So I knew that it was you know, sellers were very much in control in this push down. There was no signs of strong buyers whatsoever. And we knew that that would equal trap traders. We had all the prerequisite information and context and signal setup now to get into this trade. And we got our nice sell slide down. Not holding these trades for 2 legs, right? We just look for the extension. And I'm pretty lucky. and happy that the extension actually slid as much as it did, because technically my entry was basically I was shorting low a day, right? So I had to remember that this thing could extend not very far and then start to, you know, trend up again and stay in this larger range. So I was going to be very careful and to not let that come back against me for that one reason. Yeah, I mean, we had the big slide, which is awesome, but for me, there was no way for me to forecast that that was going to happen at that current time. And for me, I just looked for that one extension off that low one opportunity. So all in all, was managed great, and I'm happy with the management of that trade. And I couldn't take the low one signal here because we didn't have the prerequisite for the trade entry. So nothing through here for me. You know, the big volatility move. No trade opportunities. Now, technically here, we did get a 2-leg pullback signal with like a 1-tick poke and a beautiful signal bar. Couldn't be fucking better, especially off that 1-tick poke. But no trade because the market had pushed so far so quickly that, like, in my mind, I know that the market is so stretched right now that it could snap back, like, not retrace the whole move or anything, but we had such a strong push into like multiple liquidity points that the market could spring a little bit as like a relief rally relatively easily at this point. So the conditions were not ideal to take this trade, and it didn't get the follow through that I would have wanted to see at all. So there was no re-entry information, nothing like that. The market did come down. We did test just a smidgen lower and showed strong buyers again. Now, this wasn't actionable for us because there was no trigger before the pullback. But one thing that I do want to mention is that, again, we were reading the market correctly. And I said that this next try, ideally, we get a little bit of a failure down here and we can play that push back up in because we're finding buyers, right? After a very large move, we're stretched. We are finding buyers. There hasn't been a good opportunity to get long quite yet, but it's getting very close, and this next one could have given a good entry. Unfortunately, it held a higher low. Demand was high, and the market rallied like we were kind of getting ready for. So again, like, really good awareness and analysis, but just not a clean opportunity to get in there for me. And that was pretty much it. And then here as well, right? Like, we were kind of watching. We knew the 5-minute was trying to reverse. Now the next opportunity is the critical opportunity, right? Either this market is going to break above the W top into liquidity and we're going to hold and continue, or we're going to fail at liquidity and then come right back down. So this was the test right here. As soon as we broke back below this 1-minute support, we knew that we were actually getting our 5-minute pullback now. And it needed to decide if it was going to hold or if it was going to start to come right back down and never get the actual second part to extension. While looking at this price action, right, we never got a trigger to go short. It held beautifully, and as soon as this candle formed, it looked great, right? Like, we fully expected a break above this level and then the slide straight up to above this level, which would line up with the moving average. It was really good analysis, and you know, I'm pretty happy with how was reading the market today. All in all, just not a lot of opportunities as far as like proper opportunities for me. The only one that was 100% proper was the one that I did take. So I am pretty happy about that. It was a good trade day. Sorry, man, I wasn't looking at chat. I was rambling there. Nice. Hell yeah. Nice green day for all of us, man. Good job. Hell yeah. 8625. Right here, I see you shorted as it came down. That makes perfect sense because look at what we were running into. Beautiful. Beautiful. It was a good day. It's a good trade day. But yeah, that pretty much sums up my review and stuff. I'm gonna check back in a little later because I'm quite curious to see how this market develops, but it was a good day. Good analysis. good execution, and we'll be right back at it again same time tomorrow morning. Take care, man. I'll see you in the morning.